Test day is coming up, and I got a question from one of my students here regarding February LSAT test day rules. He writes, what are the rights of a test taker regarding bringing their own scratch paper and a pen? I brought my own material for the January LSAT and was not allowed to use it. I'm used to using college lined paper and a black ink pen for all note-taking, diagramming, and whatever else I need. But when I showed up to the test center, I was given 5 pink double-paged pieces of scratch paper and 2 sharpened number 2 pencils. It was surprisingly distracting to diagram on pink paper with harsh light beaming down, creating a noticeable reflection, especially when I'm trying to erase anything. The pink paint would come off the paper and it would leave a distracting white smear. Thank you in advance. So test day rules are unfortunately very confusing. The rules are actually different whether you're taking the LSAT remotely, meaning online from home, versus taking it in person at a Prometric testing center. The rules when you're taking it at home are actually pretty clear, but when you're taking it at a test center, the rules are a little more vague. So here are the rules from LSAC. They specify for anyone taking it remotely, you can use pens, pencils, mechanical pencils, highlighter. Those are all fine. At home, you can have 6 sheets of 8.5 by 11 scratch paper, and it can be blank, lined, or graph. However, when you're taking it in person at the Prometric Testing Center, they only specify you're going to get scratch paper and you're going to get pencils. They don't specify how much scratch paper. They don't specify how many pencils. So I agree, it's pretty lame. They're only going to give you 2 number 2 pencils, and they're giving you pink scratch paper that's hard to use given harsh overhead lighting. That doesn't really seem fair or right to me. Unfortunately, I'm guessing that LSAC just doesn't feel they have control over the test centers, and the test centers are going to do what they're going to do. Obviously, a pretty bad situation for you in this case. So if you're really big on wanting to have lined paper, if you want to have easy to use clean white paper, maybe you want to take it at home to avoid these issues. But yeah, unfortunately, if you are taking it at a Prometric testing center, you're pretty much at their mercy. So if they're going to give you colorful paper, if they're only going to give you 2 pencils, if they're going to give you blank paper rather than lined paper, there's not really a whole lot that you can do about it, unfortunately. So when you ask me, what are the rights of the test taker regarding bringing their own scratch paper and bringing a pen, there really are no rights of the test taker here. You're limited to their scratch paper and you're limited to whatever writing utensils they give you. They're giving you pencils. We don't know how many you're going to get, and we don't know what quality or type of scratch paper you're going to get. It's somewhat of a discrepancy here that at home, you're getting 6 sheets of paper and it can be blank, lined, or graph. And then when you're taking it in person, you're getting only blank paper, and it's not even guaranteed to be white paper. It could be pink, it could be orange. I've heard of all sorts of ridiculous colors that are a little bit distracting in my view. I'm not even sure why are they giving people colorful scratch paper. It doesn't make any sense to me, because I would think, if anything, white scratch paper is cheaper for them than colorful paper is. And I don't see it being a huge problem for them to give you lined paper either. I could see graph paper maybe being more expensive, or other standardized tests that they're administering at that testing center don't allow their students to use graph paper. I could see that, but I can't really see why any standardized test would have an issue giving people lined paper. I could see for graph paper, maybe it makes solving math problems a little bit easier. I'm thinking back to, I think it was trigonometry, where you're drawing a lot of things, right? So that's obviously a little bit of a unique situation. But if we're standardizing things, if the rules are the same for everybody, I think it would only be fair for those taking it in person to not have an advantage over those taking it in person. For those of you who have been watching my videos for a while, you probably know I'm a big advocate of taking the LSAT in person to avoid tech issues and proctor issues. The in-person experience is overall a lot smoother. So the disadvantages of the person writing in with these questions here kind of even the playing field a little bit. Maybe you have a better proctoring situation, but a worse situation regarding scratch paper and pencils. I'm not saying that's fair or right. Of course, I want everyone to have the smoothest experience possible. I'm always advocating on behalf of the test taker here. I want you guys to have the best experience possible. If you want to prep for the worst in the case of taking it at a test center, I'd recommend, of course, maybe practicing with some pink scratch paper. Maybe practice taking a test with only 2 number 2 pencils. Don't use mechanical pencils or pens if you're taking it in person and you're going to be taking it with a pencil. Anyway, folks, that's all for now. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please do me a favor and share it with someone who needs to see it. I don't do any advertising for this channel. I rely only on word of mouth to help get the word out, and your sharing this video really does make a difference. In the meantime, I wish you all the best and take care.